Now, what we have here is Amira. Our goal, of course, is to breed Amira. Sometimes I pay attention to the signs. You know what a sign is? A sign meaning, hey, it might not be time for this particular breeding. He's got a lot going on. So I get one of the little baby wipes and I say, hey, let me wipe her and see if she's bleeding at all. Blood is an indicator oftentimes that she's at least started her period. Here we go, mama. Let me wipe. Let me show him. Now remember, that vulva's a whopper. So it's a whopper. And unfortunately, as you see, there is no blood. Well, do I wait for the blood or do I run a progesterone test? Here's a couple things. If you're dealing with a silent heat, you can smell the difference in discharge and even their pee at times. And so when I was at Chris Moore's house, I don't know if you guys remember, he smelled like one of his female. He's like, yo, I think this one's a heat. And it was a silent one, so he couldn't see. He couldn't see it. So what did he do? He ran a progesterone test and she was sitting at a 3.4. A 3.4 means she's going to do what? Double more than likely the next day. So she's going to go to 7. Once she gets to 10 or 15 or over 10, that means it's time to breed her. Especially if you're doing an AI or potential TCIs in the 20s. But Amira right now, let me tell you the whole truth. The truth is this. I didn't even ask Stan if she bleeds. I said, hey, every time he said, yo, I think Amira's about to start her period. She's swelling up. I need to know if she's bleeding. Because for me, those are signs that, okay, she bled on this day. 7 days from now, I'll run the first progesterone test. Past that, we'll run another one. Two or 3 days after that, depending on what the numbers are at. Normally, if the numbers are not there, you get a 0.01, real low numbers. We'll talk more about this, but silent heats for people that are trying to breed and create better dogs, per se, they're both scary and annoying because then we got to wait another 6 months. So even the other day, last night, I go, okay, she started swelling in November, December, January, February, March, April, and then you got May, right? Does May make any, is that the worst time? No. It means we get to do more work and we got more time to get more stuff done. But she's a happy dog. As I said, she's swelling up, but I haven't seen any blood. And I don't even know, I just gotta pay closer attention, people. But again, you have proestrus or anestrus, proestrus, estrus, I believe, and then diestrus. Right now, she's supposed to be in, I believe, proestrus, which is it taking place, and then estrus is when she starts bleeding objectively, and during that time, she's properly preparing herself to potentially produce some pups in that good oven of hers. Now, we're going to keep you posted because, again, unfortunately, this could be one that we miss, and it's not the worst thing in the world. But I understand some people's plight. I pay attention to the signs. If it's not time, it's just not time. And I'm praying to God she bleeds to be clear. Because this will make this, it'll get her in and done. And even if you look at her little light roach, depending on how her hip structure is, she could be sitting on some bacteria because we didn't do a TCI the first time. Hip structure alone could increase risk of what? Pyometria as the dog gets older, but even worse, it could cause problem if that her canal hasn't been super cleansed or cleaned out, which could prevent the semen, even healthy semen, from getting through and getting her pregnant. Now, facts are, she got pregnant on a natural tide when nobody was looking. Nobody was watching. Boom, they locked up. Puppies were here. Dogs got out. So Stan brought her to me as soon as she started swelling. So I'm not super concerned, but I'm kind of concerned. Stay tuned, people. Take care of your dogs. We'll break this down in in a different episode. Boy, I tell you, man, she's stage ready, boy. That was a light stack for y'all right there. She done came through and said, "Let's say win, buddy. You know I want all the smoke." She's a tough looking girl, boy. Thanks, man. So Jamarcus just asked a question because he said that he was expecting Nala, who's relatively been regular. I think her first heat was at month 10, and then after that she had another one at 6 months, and then he saw some blood at the next 6 month mark. He says, but it wasn't a lot of blood. So you say, hey, why was the first one so heavy? And even more importantly, how do I properly manage the next one? Because I might have missed the last one because there was some light swelling, but I didn't see an excessive swelling and wasn't a lot of blood, because within a week's time, she was back over here, moving around. So I just said, could it be a false heat? But it says here in this book, young bitches are more likely to show split heats or false heats around the age of puberty. So technically, in her first year is where she should have potentially had a false or a what's it called? Well, literally, I'm reading it out the book. Or split heat. Around the age period, they may come into season to start with and even accept mating, but this is then suddenly interrupted, usually without ovulation. So let's say the female again swells up, lightly bleeds, and then accepts a male. You got a boy and a girl and they tie up, but there's no dogs, no pups 62, 63 days from now. You go, what happened? What went wrong? Well, a false heat. After a period of a few days to a few weeks, the bitch may come into season again, but normally this is the time with accompanying ovulation. This book is written weird. You know, there's books that put words and context together. You go, I don't know if this is supposed to be written this way. Young bitches are more likely to show the split heats or false heats around the age of puberty. They may come into season to start with and even accept mating. Point is this. Pay attention to your sign, get to know your female. There is a such thing as a false heat, and the false heat sometimes means it's a split heat. Split heats happen earlier versus later. Later, you probably are dealing with some type of other issue, and I repeat, you want to try to get all your females bred out by year 4. Every year that you wait to breed a female, you increase the risk of pyometria, especially if she doesn't have a strong immunity, or if you're not doing what you need to do to clean her vaginal canal. Now, we know that women use, at times, douches, but the douche itself kills good bacteria. In this case, especially if they have one for dogs, and I don't know, this is food for thought, during anestrus, where the whole system is down, might be the time, especially after 180 days of her potentially having a litter, where you go in and clean her pipes out. And that sounds bad. You know, it sounds suspicious. But what I'm saying is I don't know if we put a video up of the dogs getting TCI, which I'm pretty sure we have, and you get to see the doctor stick this big long metal needle all the way through the canal so she can drop them things off right at where the eggs are going to drop. And it speeds up the process, reduces the risk of loss of the puppies, or the risk in terms of not getting pregnant. And you say, if you do an AI and there's a lot of discharge, like Maya had yellow gunk and all kinds of stuff in there, you go, ooh, no wonder you so funky. You are, when she bleeds or she's going through her situation, it's a situation. On top of her leaking everywhere, she stinks. You know, she stinks. One of them funky girls. So that being said, people, we've got to figure out how to solve for a lot of these problems. And maybe some people know. So feel free to comment and you know, make some suggestions below, and potentially we could do a live conversation at some point with some people who've gone through this. We haven't gone through a lot. We've had some missteps, and missteps meaning, hey, I did this, and that. Maya didn't get pregnant. She didn't get pregnant in the wintertime. I was like, let's test and see if this works. Hey, let's test and see if that passes on. We've all got a lot to figure out. But point is, be mindful of false heats and split heats, people. And as always, take care of your dogs.